right, that's D. Scott, our favorite DJ.
Your only DJ, actually.
Our only DJ. And
You've
below
never
him,
asked me, Frank, if that's my favorite DJ. You just assumed.
I had a really good line for you. You just ruined it.
Yeah, don't interrupt.
Stepped on it.
What's wrong with you?
Jesus.
I stepped on it. All right, go ahead. Come on. Spit it out.
That's the DJ, and I ain't talking Jelly Jeff. I've not used one already. But that's the Silver Tongue Devil, Mr. Bobby Fish.
The Silver Tongue Devil. I don't like it, Frank. And who is in the bottom corner? None other than the Prince of Pontification, the Prince of Porno.
What?
No, not really. That was I'm running out of peas. The Prince of Piss.
Prince of Passion?
The Prince of Passion. There we go.
I don't know what he's got.
Bukkake Princess.
Easy.
We've had a lot of.
It's a running joke.
Frank owns this place in Japan called the Bukkake Lounge. But anyway, none other than Tyler Bubba Breeze.
Hi guys. What an intro, by the way. My God.
Yeah.
Unlike any other.
Yeah,
we can be hired for ring announcements too.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We're a package. We're a trio.
We actually usually just leave the intros to Frank. So
yeah, I mean he had a whole plan and then it just kind of went out the window.
Yeah, it got eviscerated. It got eviscerated. We just stepped all over it.
Yep.
And so Breezy.
Yep.
How we doing?
Doing pretty good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice and busy. And busy. We got lots on the go. Just cooking in Florida, man. Nice and hot down here right now.
It is very hot.
Yeah.
Very hot.
Good, man. Overall good.
And awfully wet. Anybody know that movie? Anybody name that?
That would be Good Morning Vietnam.
No.
Well, he uses the line in Good Morning Vietnam where he says it's hot and wet. It's good when you're with a woman, but it sucks when you're fighting in the jungle.
No.
Close, but not the one he's looking for.
Right.
Yeah, that's not it. That's not it.
Frank, any guesses?
No.
Nothing?
No.
Well, that's good because I can't remember exactly what it was. But I know that I have that in my Rolodex.
Sure.
It might be like a Chevy Chase quote or something, or maybe it was Will Ferrell.
You can't just throw it out there and have no clue where it came from.
That was
no, I just know it's in my brain. It's
guys,
floating around with the rest of the soup.
Hold on. It was a movie from the last 45 years. I'm not sure what movie it is, but it came out in the last 50 years. There you go.
Jesus Christ Superstar.
Narrowed it down.
Are we taking it that route? Are we going religious tonight? Breezy, born again?
No, not for me.
Yeah, once was enough.
Well, there's a definite highlight for this. What the hell just happened?
Dennis, please, for the love of God.
What?
Get Frank in line.
I can't do that. What do you want me to do? I can just turn his mic off.
All right.
Just close him out.
Breezy, how's old Flatbacks doing?
It's good. We actually just started a new class on Monday.
You did.
A new fresh group of young hopefuls that haven't been around the wrestling business before, so they got bright eyes and hopes and dreams. Right. If you can remember that far back, bud. If you can remember that far back.
Oh God, no! I mean, I started training right after the Civil War. It's documented, actually. It's on Wikipedia.
You've held up. All right.
I have. I've done all right. Took my first bump right after the Battle of Little Bighorn.
Didn't you put Abe Lincoln over?
Yes.
I eventually did, but I mean, let's not get things out of chronological order, Frank.
Sure.
Follow the process here.
Yeah.
So Breezy, you got a new class. What's that? And please not looking for trade secrets, but what's the process like with a new class? What kind of numbers we looking at, or is this stuff I don't want to like dig too deep?
No, it doesn't really matter.
Tell me to fuck off. If,
yeah,
it
doesn't really matter. Classes vary; they vary all the time. So like, what normally happens is we'll get like a bunch of like applications, and then they'll kind of go silent for a while, and then all of a sudden we'll get like a bunch of people signing up at once.
Okay.
So it seems like a lot of people kind of like reach out for the info, and then they got to make a plan, and then they usually, a couple months later they're in. So classes vary. Sometimes, it's 5 to 10. Sometimes it's 10 to 20. I think the most we've ever had was like 17, 18. So there's no real set amount. I think just probably 20 is the max, because it's a lot of people for one class.
Sure.
But yeah, no, it's everybody's excited. It's day one. Super nervous. Everybody is very, very nervous.
Yes, of course.
So you kind of ease them in. You let them know. They're hiring us to be their coaches, and use us as coaches, man. If you got questions, ask. We're open books. So it's trying to break the ice a little bit. Again, it's easier said than done, because I remember when I went to wrestling school, and Lance was standing there and going, I just watched him on TV, and now all of a sudden he's teaching me. You know what I mean? So it's just it freaks you out, man. But we ease them in, and the first week is pretty kind of an eye-opening experience for them, where they are either they find out that they're very prepared, or that they're not, and it happens very quickly. So we just did the first 2 days, got into some rolls, some bumps, the usual stuff, easing them in. So, but overall, everybody's they seem to be doing okay so far. Get used to the heat. We're pretty international on this one. We got somebody from Germany, we got somebody from Wales. So getting used to training in the heat is a new thing for them.
Yes. So is it still a thing, like when they get the contusion from hitting the ropes? Kind of the thing. And are people generally still astonished with how painful some of those first steps are, like taking a buckle and taking a buckle and taking I think people are still under that misperception of oh, well, it's fake. So,
well, and you'd also be everybody's surprised, man, because when you sign up, let's say you're 18, 19, whatever you are, even doing rolls, chances are you haven't done a somersault or a back roll in 10 years at least. You know what I mean? You just don't do it unless you're specifically, doing something with gymnastics or something like that. But there's just so many that even doing rolls, getting back into rolls is their legs go one way, their hands go the other way. And it's okay, they got to get some body control going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, same thing. Once we get into ropes and bumps and stuff like that, it's kind of okay, well, I thought the ring was a little bit softer, and I thought the ropes were nice and bouncy. And, even all the small stuff of even just pinning somebody and kicking out and, getting accidentally whacked in the face and the nose and all this stuff. They kind of realize quick that even the small stuff is big. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's interesting so what the exposure of the business has caused for people that there's this overwhelming belief of oh, but it's fake, or it's something other than sport. And it's well, if you're an athlete, it's going to make your life a hell of a lot easier. I'll tell you that. I always just tell them in the first day, I'm you know what? I said, the first little bit is just teaching your body to do weird shit. You literally have to get used to running in a ring, bouncing off ropes, rolling around, taking bumps, all the natural stuff of if I trip and fall, I probably try to stop myself from falling. And now you're doing the complete opposite by throwing yourself down as fast as humanly possible. But it's so that kind of throws people off. But, like you said, it's kind of the never ending, historical wrestling question where it's fake, it's not fake, it's whatever. Yeah.
We're so far past that at this point. It's just it again, I think Spears actually has a really good analogy where it's you know what, if I hopped on a football field, I could probably throw a ball. I could probably throw a ball and catch a ball. If I was on a basketball court, I could probably make a couple of hoops here and there. But if you take, some of the best athletes in the world, like a Tom Brady and a LeBron James, and then when you toss them in a wrestling ring, they're going to struggle, man, because there's nothing like it. And, obviously, but it's just it's I don't know. You can't put it in the fake, not fake category. It's just so much talent wrapped into one thing,
Right. Well, before you got into wrestling, what
did you were you into sports, and would you have considered yourself an athlete?
Oh yeah. I was I always played like everything that you could basically do in school.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, I'm playing
That's what I
soccer this time,
figured.
and I'm playing this, and I'm playing whatever.
Yeah,
I played hockey for like 10 years, so that was kind of my main thing that I did. But I was always into whatever. I was always running around and lifting weights as soon as I could, and just kind of getting into the stuff. Because I mean, obviously, when I saw wrestling, I was like, well, if I'm going to do this, I should probably be as athletic as possible and everything else, because I kind of already knew the deal. But especially now, like, what we see a lot of is, I don't know if people, when they watch wrestling, if they just think, oh, that's easy, or I can do this or whatever. But a lot of people are very unprepared when they come to the school, man.
I think they do. Like, I think, being an athlete, whatever the sport was, it teaches you body awareness. It teaches your body coordination.
Yeah.
And like, you're learning it at a time that you're not aware of the fact that you're learning it, because you're a kid. So you're just like, okay, well, I'm playing soccer. They told me to kick the ball. Like, I'm going to go kick it at that guy.
Yep, exactly.
You just do. And then you don't know any different. And so now you fast forward to like these people are almost adults. And if they weren't athletes previously, the coordination isn't always there. I mean,
it's not like
level.
It's not impossible for them, but it is more difficult, because again,
for sure,
man, you got to get everything working. Your coordination's got to be there. And like, obviously once you get up to, more of an advanced level, like, we're moving fast, man. Like, there's a lot of moving pieces that if you're not in the right place at the right time, like, your life changes pretty quickly. You know what I mean?
Yes, for sure. All right. Well, yes. And you brought up Spears. It's you and Spearsy. You guys have been doing this how long now? It's
been 4 years. 4 years already.
Okay. Wow.
So it goes quick, man. It's kind of funny. I walked by we have like our class pictures up on the wall. And there's like quite a few up there over 4 years, man. Like 5 classes a year. There's like a lot of kids that we've trained already. So
that's a ton. If you multiply that. Wow, that's a ton.
Yeah,
that's awesome. And you get to that point in your career, I guess, and I never thought I would be there, but I feel like I'm kind of there now, where like, it's kind of neat to realize that like a lot of this stuff that you've taken for granted all these years, because you're amongst your peers, right? Like when we're in the locker room, whatever. So like all these things that I know, so like we just take it for granted.
Yeah, we're just messing around, having fun,
Right. But these
little did you know,
up,
it's a skill.
Yeah, it's a skill that only applies here. It's a very specialized skill.
Don't mess around and learn into the world. But
don't you dare try to take it into the regular world.
Yeah, oh God,
shame on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got Flatbacks occupying your time, and what was the other thing? So you and Xavier, you and Woodsy.
Yep.
You're still rocking up, down.
Yep. Still doing up, down stuff. We actually just did the up, down summer games, where we had like just a bunch of teams, and it was more of like in person, like fun little games that you just don't do as an adult. And and it was actually really fun, man. It was cool, like just kind of seeing people let loose. That's kind of been that's always the beauty of up, down is it's not, you don't have to be the same person that you are in the ring. You can kind of just like let loose and have fun and relax with your friends a little bit, and that always creates like fun content to watch. People love watching that stuff. So still going hot, man. Up, down, all over the place. We got lots coming down the pipe, so staying busy with that stuff. Flatbacks. I've been doing a little bit of guest coaching at the Performance Center.
Nice.
So just kind of a little bit of everything. Yeah.
Yeah. That I think the exposure to that is what kind of you find out pretty quickly if you're cut out for coaching, or if you're at that place where you're like, yeah, I want to just give back. Like I've seen a distinct change in myself. At this point, doing even seminars and stuff, like I've kind of derived like enjoyment out of it. Where years ago I was like, oh man, I did a seminar, but all right, whatever.
Yeah, you got it. You definitely have to be ready for it. Like you have to, and this is the weird part is like not all really good wrestlers can be good coaches.
100%.
You know what I mean? And like some just don't know how to. Some just don't know how to explain like what they do. Like they just I don't know, just do it. Like just do it. You know what I mean? But it's like no, you got to like figure out. And this is the weird part is like once you train people for a certain amount of time, you start to realize that they're all just kind of like almost like archetypes of a student. So you're like, oh, I've trained this one before. This is just like, student number one, and we've trained like 4 of them. So then it's like you just slowly see like how you can get through to people, and like it's very funny. It's odd, but it's very cool, and like especially coaching and like the whole point. It sounds funny, but when we coach them, we tell them we're like, hey, just so you know, this is probably going to be the hardest thing you're ever going to do, and like that's the point, because in reality, like anybody could open up a wrestling school, and it doesn't matter if you've ever done it. You could just own the building, but I guarantee you get students, and that's kind of obviously the landscape of independent wrestling. As you know, like, there's so many people out there that don't know what they're doing. And we opened up the school with that zero intention of adding to that. We wanted everybody who was, if you see somebody wearing a Flatback shirt, they know their shit. And like, I mean, if you can ask us, I will tell you exactly what we told them in their evaluations. You know what I mean? So it's like, we kind of have a higher standard, I guess, of what we expect, safety wise and professionalism and stuff like that. And so we're hard on them, we're hard like throughout the course. It's like, hey man, like it's not just, we show you something and you better go over it, because we're going to go over it again. And if you aren't doing it, it's going to be very apparent that you either are getting better or worse. And like, again, it's nothing to us, man. If you don't want to do this as a career, great. But if you tell me you want to do this as a career, I'm going to give you everything I got. And every now and then you get the people who you see the light bulbs going off, and it's super cool, man. It's super rewarding to where you go, that was why I've been on you, man, for weeks and weeks and weeks, is because I wanted that. And they go, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I've had that conversation numerous times with my wife. My wife is duly licensed. She can do women's hair. She can do men's hair. She teaches barbering at the college. And, she has times like any other job where she's just fed up, and I can tell, and I know, and blah, blah, blah. But she'll share, an experience of a kid that like maybe in the beginning of the semester was a little bit like judgmental of her, and like had his guard up or whatnot, and she's my wife is blonde and she's beautiful, and so they maybe stereotyped her, and with their guard up, she's just not able to get through. Sure. And then by the end of the semester, and they pass their test and they graduate, and she's their first phone call or their first email, and their, the gratitude is overflowing at that point.
Yeah, it makes a difference, man. Like good coaching, it goes such a long way, dude. Like, obviously when Lance trained me, like it's that I couldn't have got off to a better start. You know what I mean? It's such a difference when you want to do something and you go out of your way to get trained properly. Like I can't tell you, man, it's just the only way to do it.
Yeah. 100%. I saw Lance when I went in. I did a kind of a one-off thing for Impact, and I saw Lance, and he talked about you. He mentioned like training you was fucking. He hated it. It made him like for those couple of years he hated wrestling. He said, keep that between him and I. So.
Sure, and you've done that. You've done it.
Well, I did up until now, but
right until now.
I figured here you are.
Here we are.
Surprise. Yeah, that's fantastic.
That's a good joke. That was really good. That was funny.
So I gotta say this now. Just rewinding here for a second, just back to the up, down, down thing. That hands down, the one that we went on Woods's something. I don't know if it was up, down, down, but it was me, Roddy, Cole, and Kyle, and we played some video games.
That would have been up, down, down.
Yeah, and Right. So I figured it was, but I wasn't sure if that, whatever.
I don't know what else it'd be, but yeah, that'd be
it. Was
it was Butt Bongo Fiesta.
Fun. It was not the Bukkake Lounge, Frank. We had the most fun with Woodsy. Like it was just infectious, and it was, the four of us, we'd always kind of consider ourselves like four peas in a pod, but then Woodsy was like the fifth pea, or maybe he was carrots. I don't know, but it was perfect. I look back on that
interaction.
Yes, that fondly. It was so much fun, and I was awful at the games we were playing. So when you did the thing recently with that, was it video games, or when you say games, are you talking like Twister?
Not Twister, but in closer to that. So we had a like an indoor field, like a big turf field that we rented out, and we ended up doing. What did we do? We had like 5 or 6 different events. So we had like pool noodle javelin throw. We had a water balloon toss where you had to keep backing up. We had a giant
javelin throw. Reminds me of Lamar Luttrell from Revenge of the Nerds.
Nerds.
Anybody get that reference? Other than
at least you know this one. You know what I mean? You're not just throwing out some random quote with zero.
This is true. This is true. I've improved.
There you go.
I love the fact
right before your eyes.
I love the fact that you knew his first and last name.
Yes, I did.
Well done.
Impressive.
Yeah. And then we did. There was like a cornhole tournament, giant Jenga, like stuff like that. It was all kind of like just fun games you'd play in the backyard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sounds like American Gladiator, but not.
A little bit.
Yeah. Well, when I was partners in a bar before I got into wrestling, and we did a beer Olympics, and so it was kind of something similar. But everyone was drunk.
Yeah.
So
man,
that's what I figured. That's what I figured.
Some of the events in that bar were just silly.
Bad. I mean, we were drunk, Frank. Don't judge us.
Frank was a part of it too.
Yeah. Frank, were you there?
There was one particular event that if the females had a small chest, they were getting a boob job.
Huh? Did we give away what that was the prize?
Yes, that was a prize.
Oh, that was the prize for winning?
That was the prize.
Oh my God.
We had a sponsor. Actually, wow, you just reminded me, Frank. That's legit. Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was. Wow.
That's an expensive prize.
We did. We gave somebody boobs.
Nice.
How about that? There's something you can't say, Breezy. There's something you've never done.
I've never done.
Nope.
Haven't even been in the same realm. But
no, you haven't.
Bit of time over there.
So, Lance.
Yep.
How did that come about? How did you? You're not Canadian, correct?
I am Canadian.
You are Canadian.
I am Canadian.
Are you a
Always
BC
been,
guy?
Yeah. I am a BC guy.
Oh, you're part of that?
I'm part of it. Kyle, he escaped it just before me.
He did. Yes.
Yeah.
So are you know Andy Roy?
I don't know if I do.
No? Okay. He's a BC guy too, but I know Andy from Kyle. And now Andy and I we do some work. He'll do some legal stuff because I definitely am in the dark.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't.
He helps me. He helps me quite a bit. And,
I don't know if I ever met him.
Yeah, he's a smart dude. We should hook you guys up. He'll help you.
There you go. But BC guy, Canadian guy.
Yeah. Lance Storm.
Yep.
You had mentioned it before. Like, so to start training with Lance, you had that moment of like, oh my God, this is Lance Storm.
Yep.
Very cool.
It was So like I was always my goal was always WWE. I always wanted to be in WWE. Of course. So, slowly figuring out, and again, I didn't know any of like, some guys knew all the ins and outs. Like they knew, about developmental territories and this and that and whatever. I had no clue about anything. I just knew that I watched wrestling. I want to be a wrestler. So, by the time I started looking around, I figured out that at the time, OVW was like developmental. Mm-hmm. And so, okay, well, like if I'm learning how to wrestle, I should probably go there. But being from Canada, it made it a little bit difficult to go down to the States and get trained and like be able to survive. Because I was like, I can't work when I'm down there. So like, how am I supposed to survive? I just have to save up a bunch of money to like last this entire course and whatever. So it's kind of like having a little bit of emails back and forth with, I think her name was Julie, who worked at the front of OVW. And I was starting to make a plan, and I was like, oh, I don't know, man, this is going to be tough. And then all of a sudden, like just, through whatever, Google to Google, all of a sudden I saw that Lance had a school, and it was literally in Canada right next to me. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to go there instead. And it was as easy as that. I think I emailed him. And he gave me
the Lance Storm Academy's in my driveway.
That's right. It was literally a problem solver. I could work. I could do whatever. And I remember I emailed him about the January 2007 class, and he gave me the old, "Oh, we got one spot left, man. You better if you're gonna do it." And I went, "Okay, I'm sending my money. Don't give it away." Yeah. And it worked perfectly. Signed right up, and then that's where I went.
Worker all the way. He's a worker all the way. Was he still working TVs at that point, or was he full on school?
I think he was full on school.
Okay.
I think he had maybe a year of classes before mine, or maybe like 2, but really like relatively new to training. But yeah, he was fully into the school.
Yeah. A lot of people have come through Lance's.
Quite a few. So I didn't realize until we actually opened up Flatbacks, but he had been going for like 15 years.
Yeah.
So like I think he stopped wrestling for WWE in like when he was 35. And then he'd been open for 15 years. And when he closed down is right when we started up. And so it was this weird kind of full circle thing. But I went, oh, man, you're closing down? And he goes, dude, I've been doing this for 15 years. I'm tired, man. And I went, I said 15 years, I guess. Yeah. But like in that time, there's been a lot of people who have come through there, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's something to be said for good trainers because they're, unfortunately, there's a lot that are not,
That's right.
And it's kind of a Shark Tank in that way. You still have the carny.
Oh, that'll never, as much as you want it to go away, it'll never go away. We tell them, we tell our students as soon as they're done, we're like, just so you guys know, this is what this is. Like, there's no other like hidden secrets here. Like, we've taught you everything you need to know. Now you just need to go out and get reps and get better at it. But like, you don't need to sign up for another class. You don't need to like pay someone else. Like, you just need a ring and you need to be on shows. That's it. So like, don't get swindled. You know what I mean? And almost always they'll email us and be like, well, this guy said I got to pay like $5,000 for this course. I said, no, you don't need it, bud. You don't need it. We showed you how to do it. You're good.
Yeah, I think, and unfortunately, it's one of those things where like until you touch the stove, you don't know.
That's right.
Actually hot. Like they said it was hot, but is it really hot?
Yeah. Yep. You don't know until you're in.
Yes.
But fortunately, once you're in, you're in. Then you get it. Then you know what it is.
Yeah. Well, what? And I always associate the two of you together. I could probably answer this question myself because I don't know when the last time is that you saw him, but I just saw him not too long ago. But the man Dango, how's Dirty Dango doing?
He's doing good.
Yeah.
We touch base every now and then. I think we got a couple bookings coming up together.
Okay, that's what my next question was. A breezy Dango reunion.
There's been a couple, and it's so funny, man, because like obviously you can explain how Dango is to people, but they don't fully understand until they meet the man. Like he's a one of a kind individual.
He is so
pops the hell
one.
But there's been a couple times like I've taken some bookings and they're like, oh man, like we want to bring in you and Dango. And I go, okay, cool. And then they'll email me back and they'll be like, I don't know. He's being weird. Like I don't know if he wants to do the tag team thing. And I go, okay. And then like they email again, like, oh, I don't know. Now he says he's like retiring from wrestling. So like, I don't really know. And I said, oh my God. He said he's been retiring for like the past 10 years, man. It's just how he is. And then all of a sudden we're on a match together.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of funny, like watching everyday folks or like promoters that don't know him interact with him. It just makes me laugh. You know what I mean? But he's the same. He's the same. Nothing's changed.
Yeah. He truly is one of one, man.
Yeah.
He is one of one. And he's like, he's every, and this is just like him, you know, backstage. Like he's every wrestling cliche rolled into one. And like, but he's joking half the time, but he does, and I can appreciate this very much, raised by the man that raised me. His delivery of these things are so deadpan that people they just don't know. And watching them watch him is what's the entertainment, you know.
There was a time in NXT where I think it was me and him, and we were against Danny Burch and Oni.
Yep.
And like they kind of understand Dango, but not fully, like not like I do. And
of course.
And before the match, Burch kind of goes, my knee's kind of bugging me, so like, can we work around that? I said, yeah, that's fine. So Dango's sitting there. He hears this. He knows this is the plan. And like, I think the producer comes up, and we start putting the match together. And like, it's like, all right, you know. And then Burch, you know, he'll kind of just roll to the floor or whatever. And Dango's like, no, let's what if we like throw him over the top? Let's throw him over the top to the floor. And I go, no. I said, he's just going to roll to the floor. And like, he starts kind of just like getting quiet, and he looks mad. And I go, what is happening here? So the producer kind of goes away, and then we're kind of talking, and I see him getting like madder and madder. He's starting to like pace. And finally he just goes like, yeah, I'll be back in a bit. And he just like leaves. And Oni and Burch look at me and they go, what's wrong with him? And I said, I guarantee you he just misunderstood something. And they just go, oh, okay, so like we're okay. I said, we're fine. So Dango goes away. About 30 seconds later, he comes back with no shirt on, and he's just fuming, and he just goes like, where's my mask? I think it was at the time when we had pandemic stuff. And he goes, where's my mask? And I said, right there, man, it's around your neck. And he goes, okay. And he leaves. And I go, what? And they said, are you sure? He seems really mad. And I said, yeah. I said, he's fine. I'm telling you, he's fine. So then all of a sudden, like, he comes back maybe 5 minutes later, and he seems to cool down kind of. And I go, hey, man, I said, you doing all right? And he's like, yeah. I said, why'd you seem so mad? And he goes, what? He's like, it's like you guys didn't like any of my ideas. Like you didn't want me to be a part of putting the match together or whatever. And I said, no. I said, remember Burch's knee, we're trying to take care of him. So like, we're not going to throw him onto the floor. He's just going to roll on whatever. He went, oh, okay. And I just went, wait, did you really think that like we just thought your ideas were bad and we didn't want you to be a part of the match together? And he goes, yeah. I said, why would we do that? Why would we ever do that? And you just stormed off and threw your shirt off and got angry at us. I said, no. I said, we're trying to protect Burch. I said, you were sitting here. And he goes, yeah, I forgot that part.
Okay. He is the best, man. He is the best, especially because and I've known him since I got started.
Really?
So to see, because I think I was probably like 5 years in when I met Dango.
Were you a main guy?
No. But Johnny, I was closer to Massachusetts.
Or he was, I guess Albany. He was Boston and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, he was part of like the New England crew.
Sure.
And that's, where I met him, and he was Johnny Curtis at the time.
Yeah.
And, Dango was always kind of that physically like a prototypical WWE guy, handsome as the day is long.
Yeah, he was. So when I got hired by WWE, I met him in FCW. And I went, man, like this is what a pro wrestler is. Like just a good looking jack dude. Like just seemed like he had the world by the balls. You know what I mean?
Yep. And, all sewn up.
Yeah, just like I'm like, that's what you should strive to be. Like he's the man, dude.
More somas. When he was Johnny Curtis, that's when we met, and he seemed to be like he was one of the developmental OGs.
Oh, big time, yeah.
Seemed like he was in developmental. Like I feel like he was just always in developmental.
Well, I think because he was a part of Deep South.
Yeah,
I think he was Deep South, and then he was FCW.
Total OG.
Yeah.
Total OG. So like I had a few different interludes with WWE, flirtations with WWE, whether it be a dark match or I went to Tampa for FCW at one point. I did a week of a couple of different things, and it just seemed like he was one of the constants. He was, I was always going to see him there. And we always got along. I think the thing that I love about him the most at this point, if I look at like his career, was when it did finally happen. And I especially for me, because I took my martial arts seriously, I still do. And I had a certain type of like thing that I wanted to portray. And I feel like we went out and we did that, but I totally ignored that we're trying to evoke emotion, and emotion is laughter.
Yeah.
It's one of the greatest emotions. There's an argument to be made for it being the greatest emotion of all of them. And for him to be willing, after being the blue chipper that he's always been, to like, just go, yep, this is what you gave me. I am going to make the absolute most of it. Yep. And I'm going all in. The Fandango thing was so over for a while.
It was great. He was super hot, man. Super hot.
And then even when it cooled off, the way that he was creative with it and was just fearless in his delivery of what it was. Like, the changing of the voice and
everything,
all of it. Yes. He just went all in, and he's never not been all in. And it's to the point now where like, I don't know where Johnny Curtis ends and Fandango begins. The line is like,
I'll double down on that one, man. Like he's just kind of one conglomerate of like everything that and everything that you see. It is funny, man, because like, I don't know.
Well, it's
a very fine line. Fine line. Yeah.
Like doing the detective stuff, and you could speak on this, like the stuff that you guys did together, like some of the most fun I ever had was like when in Ring of Honor, Red Dragon, we kind of had a loose leash on us, and Kyle and I got to just be goofs.
Yeah.
So here we are going out into the ring and, arm barring people, and I'm, kicking people in the legs hard.
Yeah.
But then we're running out to jump in Kyle's mother's van, and it's like, those were so much fun. And then I watched like the stuff that Dango has done with those backstage things, and even the in-ring stuff. Like, it just looks like he's having such a blast. It's like, how can I don't win? You could never be world champion, and that still is such a fun career, like such a fun way to go to work.
Yeah. I think like once we started doing, the more kind of comedy stuff with the Fashion Files and stuff like that, we knew we kind of stumbled on something good whenever they said cut or whenever we were out, like everybody in the room burst out laughing, and we went, oh man, like this must be good. And like, cause I'd be trying not to laugh at him, and he'd be trying not to laugh. And like, it was just, it's infectious when you watch it. It's just like, it's nonsense, but it's, again, you're not far off with that, man. Like, everybody loves to laugh, man. Like, everybody needs to laugh. And like,
we need more laughter.
Oh,
yeah, especially when it comes to wrestling. Like, please, fans, get off the internet and stop debating AEW, like, who gives a shit? It's not. You guys are the ones that say it the most. Like, it's not.
Just enjoy watching, man. Just enjoy watching.
Right. Just
it's good. It's
watch and enjoy and have fun more than anything. Like, this is supposed to be shit that you get to forget. Like, I watch my 10-year-old. She loves it. And,
really?
she, I just watch her just lose herself in it. And I enjoy watching her, and she doesn't know who's, sleeping with who and who's about to get fired and, who's wearing an abortion t-shirt, she
just watches it and enjoys what it is.
Yes. Because she knows she got to go to school tomorrow. And she's like, okay, well, I'm this for 2 hours.
It's awesome.
It's great. Yeah. And that's kind of what, I've always been a little bit, I got to be honest, man. I've always been a little bit jealous of like yourself and Dango, and like Santino Morello was another one that just a total one of one.
Yep.
And then the more absurd and the more far left he went, or far right, whatever you want to call it, like the better it was.
Oh, dude, there was a time when the only thing I enjoyed on WWE was Santino.
I totally agree.
And I loved everything about it. And when he stopped wrestling, I stole all of his stuff. Yeah. Like Dango wrestled him a bunch of times, and he went
up lifted it.
Yeah, he goes, Santino used to do this, and I said, well, I'm going to do it now. Because like he's not around, and it's so good, man. Like everything he did was just gold. It really was talking to him, I'd start laughing, man. He's just so funny.
Such timing, such fantastic timing, such there's an art to being the guy that wears the egg on his face.
Oh yeah.
Like there's a lot of people that are willing to do it, but there's a skill to leading them in a different direction just to bring it back, because that's where the real laugh is. That's where the real reaction is.
Well, I remember I was watching at a live event and Santino was on there, and Arn was sitting there watching, and he just looks over at me and he goes, Santino does everything that a babyface shouldn't do. And he goes, and the people still love him for it.
Yeah.
And he goes, that's how you can tell, like, he's good, man. He's good. Yeah. I went, I said, it's right. Yeah. Like literally everything that you should not do as the good guy. Yeah. And he does it, and they cheer him for it. And he just went, I don't know. Like, what do you say to that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it takes balls too, because that's definitely not the safe play.
No way. No, you're putting yourself out there, man. They either eat it up or they throw it back up. And
I mean, Jim Cornette has said over the years endlessly that what is it about something doesn't pay? What was it? They rhyme.
Probably funny doesn't make money.
Funny doesn't make money. There you go.
Oh,
funny doesn't make money. And like I'm sorry, like, and I'm not saying that it's not the case in a lot of situations, but I don't know. Santino, I'm pretty sure got paid pretty well, and I don't know, but it was. There's something to be said too for the fun, for just having straight up fun.
Yep. It was, and it's different too, man. Like we did all that stuff on Raw and SmackDown, and then when me and Dango came back to NXT, like Triple H was very adamant on because we were almost like, all right, we want to be these straightforward ass kicker, whatever, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And Hunter was like, nah, man. He goes, like, don't forget why the people love you guys. Like, it's because of the fun. And it's like, now we'll just give them the other part of it as well, but we're not losing the fun part. Like, that's why they attach to you. I'm like, oh, good point. Like, anyone could be the badass, you know what I mean? But like, putting yourself out there to, again, maybe make people laugh, or maybe they go, man, these guys suck. Like, it's tough spot.
Well, I think that's what 90% of people, if not more, get into pro wrestling to be the ass kicker, to be the badass.
Always.
And it's I'm not going to say it wasn't me too. Like why did I bring the martial arts stuff that I do into it? Because it was real fighting. And, but I think that it's almost to our detriment a lot of times, because there's this fun element, man, that because not so many people are swimming in that pool, it doesn't, you could watch a 3-hour Raw and not really have that tickled once, you know, and you're like, there's a void here.
It's a variety show, man. You need one of each, you know what I mean? So if it's 8 matches straight of just guys kicking the crap out of each other, by the end, it's like, all right, cool, man. But if you got to break it up with something, you know?
Yeah, I think, you know, I love to see younger guys kind of take a little bit of a chance on that, especially because like you got to recognize where your lane is once you're. So I think it's kind of like you know, and it was said, I'm sure, to you as well. Like, you know, when you're working in Japan, you're working all these other places. Like enjoy that. Regal, I think, was big on saying this. Like, and then you go to WWE, like you know, you accept what your role is, and you make money.
Yep.
You know, and that's kind of what it is. But I think we all have this ideal of what we want our wrestler to be. You know, we all created ourselves on a video game.
That's right.
You know, but I love to see just one guy that sticks out to me a little bit at the moment, just taking a chance, and not necessarily because it's great or it's not great, but just Aaron Solo on AEW. They started doing with QT Marshall. Like the what's the name of that
man.
media show? Yeah.
Yep.
And Aaron is kind of a bit part to that.
Yep.
And so he started doing this Banaka thing.
Yeah.
And now he kind of does it everywhere. And I've seen him now lean way more into it, and he seems to be getting more comfortable with it. And I think nothing but good stuff can come from that, because that's going to be growth, you know?
Well, and you know, like a guy like Solo, for example, like I've known him forever, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And wrestling wise, like he's good. But
yes,
I've never been able to sink my teeth into it until you start talking and start doing, you know, this other stuff that nobody's doing, and you go, man, this is good. Now you're getting good. You know what I mean? It was almost in the same vein as I think it was Daniel Garcia, where like, man, he's a good wrestler, dude. He can do all this stuff, but that's where it kind of starts and finishes. He's a good wrestler. And then he started adding in this dance, and he changed how he looked a little bit. And I went,
I hate my God, the dance,
dude! But that's the whole point.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
Like,
so I was so happy when he started doing that. I went, yes, like
that's my best way.
That was the only thing that you needed to add.
That's the best compliment I can pay Daniel Garcia.
Oh, it's great.
That fucking dance.
It's great, man, and
it makes my skin crawl.
Yeah, but it's I love watching like the pins start to drop on people, you know what I mean? Of like, all right, man. Like again, there's a lot of good wrestlers out there, man.
Yeah.
But why do you want to watch certain ones? Like there's a reason, you know what I mean? And again, it may be the dance is his thing, but everybody needs something, you know what I mean? Maybe it's the Banaka thing, maybe it's whatever, but it's at least something. Mine was a phone,
but
you know what I mean?
Whatever it is, you're not gonna find it until you start throwing stuff against the wall.
That's right. That's exactly,
you know. So that's, I think, what is so charming about it to me, is that I know, like, oh, I'm watching the process.
Yep.
And that's just fun to do. I think Coach Breezy just came out a minute ago.
So funny enough that you mentioned QTV. One of our students is in there. Harley Cameron is part of QTV, and she was one of ours.
So, oh, really?
Yeah. She got picked up to be a part of that, and she's been killing it, man. She's, you know, obviously you see the personality pouring out of her. So luckily, she's one of the few where, like, again, I know personality and, like, you know, promo stuff and stuff like that. That was never really my strong suit until I was really kind of thrown in the hotbed of like, you have to do this, and then I kind of figured it out. But she's like a natural entertainer, so it was very easy for her, and she's kind of been super excelling and even, you know, helping out the other guys with her personality and letting that whole kind of QTV thing come together to where it's very entertaining. It's on every week, so you must be doing something right, you know?
Yeah, and it gives something for all of those, all of that talent that you just mentioned that would have otherwise been kind of just floating around with no direction, direction. And a thing, and something that fans identify. And that's the first step in anybody's, like, you know, push to success, especially when it comes to this business.
Yep.
You know, so what would you say at the school? Are you and Spears? Do you guys kind of coach the same way, or is there quite a bit of a dichotomy between the two? Or
so almost identical. It's actually really funny because every now and then, like someone will be doing something and we'll stop them at the same time, and then like I'll look at him and he'll look at me and I'll go, "No, you got it. You already got it." Like we already kind of see the same stuff and we know.
Yeah.
The only difference is it's very much a good cop, bad cop. To where like he gets fired up, man, he gets hot, and like we don't really notice it until like his wife Cass will be like Ronnie, you're really intimidating sometimes, and like he's like a big dude with his mohawk, and he just looks mad at you, and she's like, oh my god, like relax, and then I have to like if he's being like a little bit too much to where I'm like, oh my god, this kid probably wants to like curl up and get out of here, I'll jump in and be like, well, what he means is this, so it's like a perfect balance of like We'll get our point across, but there's two different ways of getting it into you. But again, almost always like it's I see something, he sees something, we look at each other, and it's like, man, we should open up a school, and we just kind of go on.
Yeah. I mean? The yin to his yang.
Exactly
so
right.
you brought up his wife. Now they are about to join the Premier Network with their podcast.
That's right. Off Her Chops, I believe it's called. It's her Jess off her chops.
Off her chops.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So
they were doing it for a while, and then I think they took a break, and then now they're back. So
nice. Good for them. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And Spears still doing AEW.
Still with AEW, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's been a long run for him.
He was there from basically the beginning.
Day one.
Yeah.
From
one of the grandfathered in guys, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
will he be Wembley is what? August? September?
August
coming up, I think.
Oh, okay. So it's got to be in the next 2 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah.
The 27th.
End of August?
27th.
27th. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Dennis, you're
yeah.
He's on it, man. He's on
it. Yeah. Frank.
Yeah.
What are you thinking up there?
Please don't tell us. Please don't tell us what you're thinking. Jesus Christ.
What do you want to know?
Talk about opening the fucking door to something we don't need.
Right.
Am I gonna talk or we're gonna keep?
No, we're just gonna keep making fun of you.
How about a good Dusty Road story?
Oh.
Wow. I gotta think back.
That's putting you on the spot.
Hard times, baby. Hard times, baby.
Well, so now, okay, while you're thinking of that, the FCW to NXT transition, you were front and center for that, no?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So you get down there and it's FCW, Steve Kern, right?
Yep. Dr. Tom.
Yep, Dr. Tom. I think I was there when it was still FCW for a week tryout or something.
Yeah.
It was when, we were on, it's funny because we were just in Tampa, my wife and I, the other weekend, and everything is on Dale Mabry.
Yeah.
Dale Mabry. And I was like, it just took me back to that week there because I'm, by myself and the hotel was right by an IHOP. And
the Howard Johnson.
Yeah.
That was the same one I did.
Drink coffee in the IHOP before I would go into FCW every day.
Yep.
Yeah. And everything was on Mabry.
Hell of a time.
Or off of Mabry or whatever.
FCW. Very interesting time. Very interesting.
So because you're one of the few that were there for the heyday of NXT. So I mean, talk about what the progression of one to the other was like. Like, was it slow? Did it start to just kind of happen overnight where they were like, okay, there's a bunch of money going into this and things are changing now?
No, because you know how the big company works, man. It's like the Titanic. Right. Like they get an idea, but it takes a while to start changing course. You know what I mean?
100%.
So FCW, like I got there in 2010, and I think I was there for whenever it was, probably two or 3 years, I believe, when it started to switch over to NXT. I want to say it was like 2013.
And not to interrupt, but so what kind of a gimmick what, because you're still throwing things against the wall, right? So you come in with what, like kind of void of gimmick, just kind of
nothing.
wrestler.
Yeah. Some 23-year-old kid.
Create a wrestler.
Yeah. I was athletic. I could jump around. I could do some drop kicks. I could sell my ass off, but zero personality. Do not put a microphone in front of my face because I didn't practice promos. I couldn't talk to save my life. And actually, funny enough, that's what Dusty. I remember my first promo day.
Here's your Dusty story, Frank.
Oh, dude. So they go, all right, we're doing promo day. I said, all right. So they go, Dusty goes, all right, new guy, get in there. And I said, okay. So I'm standing in the ring and everybody's staring at me. And I'm already so nervous because, like, I got to FCW and I'm not a gigantic guy. And there was a lot of gigantic guys there. Yeah. And I remember texting Lance and going, dude, I'm going to get killed here. Like, they are monsters. What am I doing here? And
there were some big boys.
And of course, it was like right at the cycle too of like the cycle of hiring where they want big gigantic guys, and then all of a sudden they want like wrestlers, and then they go back to big gigantic guys. And it was right at the end of that, so there was a bunch of big gigantic guys there, and I went, oh man, like I'm gonna get killed. And so I stand in the ring, and again, not a good promo person whatsoever. Totally neglected that at that part of my career. And I'm sitting there just shaking, and Dusty knows it. Like, he's staring at me, just going like, "Oh man, this is gonna be the worst." And he's just smiling at me. He goes, "All right." He goes, just give me a minute. I want you to talk about vampires. And I said, "Okay." And for the life of me, you could offer me $1 million, and I don't know what I said, but I just kept rambling on about nothing, and still trying so hard to make it about vampires. And Dusty's just sitting there watching, and he just starts smiling and smiling and smiling because he's just watching me squirm. And like, he knows it's no good. He knows I'm not good at promos. And he just lets me sit there and kind of cook for a little bit. And then he goes, all right, we'll end it there. And I just go, oh my God, that was the worst promo that has ever happened in the history of anything. And it was just like, man, okay, I got some work to do here because this is not good. And but the transition from FCW to NXT was interesting because it was at the time. So when I got there, it was Dr. Tom was the head coach, and it was kind of a small crew, man. It was like a small little building. Obviously, you saw it, and so it was kind of like a small crew. Wasn't really like like hands on from upper management and stuff like that. Yeah. So there was kind of, I think we were toying with the idea because we had FCW TV where 10 people would show up and it would go on your local Tampa channel. Yeah. There really was nothing. So then I remember we did like the tester show at Full Sail to see if Full Sail would work for like a show. And I went, oh, are we like doing something different? And nobody really even knew still. It was just like, let's test out this arena and see what happens. And so we had this one show, and then nothing really happened for like months after that. And then you slowly started hearing about how like, okay, like we're going to all move to Orlando. So I should probably start looking for a place to live in Orlando. And then, Performance Center, we moved all the rings in and we kind of made it what it was. And it was like, okay, so this is like a different thing now. And then it just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger to where like, I think when we were originally there, I want to say there was maybe 50 people. And then now, there's 150 people. So it just keeps getting bigger. You know what I mean? So it took a while and we didn't really know. It was just kind of like day to day when you'd get an email or a text and like everybody all in today. And we go, what's happening? What's the next thing? What's the meeting? Yeah. And it literally be like, all right, guys, we're moving to Orlando, find a place to live, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So it's like,
it's got to be a little trippy for you now to go back and guest coach and see. Not that you weren't aware, because I mean, even like when I was in NXT, you had come back and, so you knew how that goes. But I'm assuming, and from the little time that I have spent there since not wrestling for NXT, I mean, things change pretty regularly.
It's very odd. And like you've probably seen it a bunch too. The generations of wrestling go fast, man. So
they do.
When I came in, there was a generation, and now probably that whole generation, aside from maybe one or two people, is either like gone or they don't wrestle anymore. Yeah. And then there was like another generation. Then there was my generation. Then there's already like 4 or 5 after that. And like I was just there 2 years ago. You know what I mean? But there's just it's so fast moving to where even if there's barely any people that you know because they're either they either move up to Raw or SmackDown, or after Raw and SmackDown you're kind of gone, or you're one of the few that gets to leave when they want to. You know what I mean? So it's just weird that the generations of like what we do go very fast, like super
very fast. And this generation as a whole, like I'm out of touch.
It's close. It's close.
I'm out of touch. I'm not close.
You sound like Terry. You sound like Terry, man.
I am fully out of touch. I might be more out of touch than Terry.
You might be. Terry's always got his
better with it than I am. I'm an old codger. I don't know. I just don't. I don't understand it. But there were parts of it too, though, that I loved, to watch, like you were saying before, just the light bulb moment, or for something that like I've been doing for years that like I just take for granted, and then I share it, and then the light bulb goes off, and I'm like, holy shit, okay.
Well, it's funny even too, man. Like, it's so weird. Like, life is weird, dude. Talking to people that you grew up watching or whatever is very odd. And now, now it's at the other end of it where people who grew up watching us or talking to us. But I remember even talking to Shawn, and this was like maybe 2 years ago. And I'm sitting there talking to him about WrestleMania 14 when he wrestled Austin. And I talked to him and Austin both about that match, and they both hate it. They both hate the match because Shawn was hurt and stuff. But I remember just telling them, I was like, this is like my favorite match for you guys. And I explained why. And I was like, just because like I've emulated how I sold from how Shawn sold, which unfortunately he had a broken back and it was real the way he was doing it. But I've tried to make it look like how he looks. And he went, oh man, he's like, I've never even thought about that. And I was like, really? And he goes, yeah. I said, that's like the perfect example of like every step you take, you're in pain. And it's like, man, that is, again, unfortunately he was actually hurt, but what a learning tool that like, if you can emulate that, then you're going to be pretty damn good. And
100%.
And once you explain that to him, like Shawn was like, he's like, I've never thought about it like that. He goes, I literally just always think about that match. And I go, that match sucked. I wish I could have done better. And I went, man, crazy.
Well, you know what I just thought of as you were explaining that too, though, is that's part of what is unfortunate about so much of what we do now being exposed, and this insatiable appetite to know more and more and more. And they kind of ruin it for themselves. Like you as a fan at that time were willing to, and you have fond memories of that match because you're watching it and you're feeling something.
Oh yeah.
Because of the way Shawn is selling, and he's not really selling.
That's right.
The beauty of it is like there is actual drama happening. And so now that you carry with you all these years later as a performer, that in today's business would have been written about on some dirt sheet, or Meltzer would have, rated it 5 stars, or who gives a shit. And that can't happen. And that's like, you can't put the cat back in the bag. But I mean,
can't put the toothpaste back in the
just sometimes like just being a fan is cool,
It's cool. What do they say sometimes of like, it's just fun to not know how the sausage is made.
100%. I don't want to know how the donuts are made. They're
like
donuts, and they're delicious.
There's one thing that's left in this world, and I'm such a fan of it, and I'll never, ever, ever want to know like any secrets, any behind the scenes, any like how you do it, anything. And it's like magic. I love magic tricks.
Yeah.
If someone's really good at magic, I'm in. And if they go, hey, you want to know how I do it? I'd say, not a chance.
No
because
way.
This is the only thing that can still get me and go, whoa, how did you do that?
Yeah.
And if you apply that same logic to what we do, like, I use my my parents as my gauge all the time, because like obviously they know me from growing up and getting into wrestling and all the time through it. But if I can have a match and like my dad texts me and goes, how did you do that? And I go, I've been practicing. I've done this and this. And or my mom texts me and goes, are you okay? And I go, yeah, of course. But like it just, if you can get them, because they know the secrets.
Yeah.
But if you can still get them, I'm like, man, I'm a good magician. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah,
there's
something. There's something to be said for that. That's craftsmanship. That's
you should take integrity in your work, man. Yeah, that's it.
Yes,
you've got to have pride in your work. Like I want to be able to show my work to people and be proud of it, not go like, don't worry about this. I do cool stuff later. Like, no, like be into the whole thing, man.
Well, that's part of my issue now. And like, I don't want to like be too boisterous about some of the stuff, but like, it's part of what is killing modern day wrestling is like the lack of attention to detail in not showing cooperation. Like, it's so ignored at this point that it's like, okay, guys, it looks like a dance. And then I think too, sometimes this is where there's a missed opportunity. When there is animosity between people, but you're in this unique space where, like, listen, at the end of the day, man, we're all paying our bills.
Yeah.
Like, we'll be like, I know for myself, I'll be professional.
Yeah.
However, there's nothing wrong with letting a little bit of, live rounds fly. I think that that's something fans can feel. Yeah. And when they do feel it, and that's all it takes sometimes too. Like, why was the running back elbow a move that was done so often? Well, because there's room for error. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Dynamite Kid, Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, they would fly at their opponent and just literally truck them. Why? Because there's nothing fake about that.
Yep.
JBL's clothesline from hell. Another one, Jay Briscoe had a clothesline that it never didn't look good because he was taking your head off.
Yeah. And again, like, there is a physical aspect to it, you know what I mean? And it's weird. And again, it's so odd, man. Like, I don't normally do a lot of like podcasts, or I don't tweet out a lot of things about my opinion, because it's just, especially in today's day and age, like, if you put your opinion out there, you're going to get 20 back, and like, you're never going to see eye to eye, which it's okay. Everybody can have an opinion. But again, it's just like, man, everybody's kind of getting, almost enamored with, these short-term reactions of if I dump you on your head, they're going to go, this is awesome, and now I'm the best in the world. It doesn't work that way, man. Like, you want your music to hit and people go, whoa, I'm really excited to see this person because of the body of work you've done. But like, man, I would much rather have a 20-year career than a 5-year career. And again, we run into that a lot at the school, to where when we open up the gates and it's like, all right, guys, take some requests. Like, what would you guys like to learn? And they go, I want to learn this. And it's like, okay, but you also have not been working on your punches or your headlock takeover, and none of that stuff looks any good if you just go, well, but I can do this other stuff. I need all your stuff to look good. I want your basics to be better than that other stuff, because the other stuff's easy to get reactions. Try to get a good reaction out of, a little bit of physical contact, or a clothesline, or a back elbow, or like you're saying, the basic stuff done properly and done really good is fucking awesome. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of it gets overlooked because it's not as cool as the other stuff. Right. It's like, man, I don't know. Cool is getting great reactions and making a lot of money for being a superstar. You know what I mean? That's cool. Not just being one of an increasing amount of people who, can be kind of interchanged onto a card, whether or not, they're doing a reverse rana or something. And it's like, you can add that stuff in if it's really part of your thing, but give me that other part where you're talking about, like, solo. Give me the something to sink my teeth into. Give me that, and then you can do all your other stuff. But when I care about it, so that all your hard work, you're getting the maximum reward, as opposed to working your ass off and getting a tiny, tiny little reward. You're ripping yourself off, man.
Yeah, I think, and that's, if we're being honest about it, it's kind of part of being young, right? And you don't know. I remember not knowing, when I was young, it was 1912. And
there wasn't even TV.
No. I think the telegraph was almost invented. So I think that is part of being young, but like, one of the things I've been thinking about a lot lately, because my style of wrestling, and I've always believed that, like, you get your foundation, and then when you get comfortable and get enough reps, you start adding you to it.
Yeah.
For me, it was martial arts, and it was specifically more striking martial arts. And so then I've been thinking about like how you teach that, and the things that I've learned having been a martial artist from the time I was 8 years old, and knowing how to throw these techniques properly, but then having this unique situation where now I'm in a profession where I got to learn how to throw them and not hurt people.
Yeah, that's the magic.
So much changed, and it didn't happen overnight, and it's developed over the 250 years that I've been in the industry.
Yeah.
When I think about it now too, as it pertains to young guys coming up, being good at striking, even if that's not going to be your go-to or anything, but having a couple of like well thrown punches, elbows, kicks, whatever they are such a useful tool in the toolbox.
Yeah.
And I've realized that throughout my career that has allowed me to be calm in moments and be more present, as opposed to thinking about the next spot, blah, 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 because I know that, buying myself a little bit of time is only one kick or one, well-placed forearm or knee away from, okay, you go over there and sell. I'm trying to think of, and I kind of wish that on my come up, I had somebody that, pointed that out to me.
Yeah, but even then, man, like you wouldn't have listened to him. It's just how it is when you're young. Like
definitely wouldn't.
It's just so it makes us sound like such ancient dudes here, but it's when you start thinking about it. One inch,
you've
2
fallen
inch.
victim. You've fallen victim
but it's hard not to sound
spell.
like the old timer. You know what I mean? But like even I was at one of the ROH tapings, and they had some crazy match, and this dude did I think a Canadian destroyer through 2 tables and exploded his leg in half. And
yes, I saw. I think I read about that.
And like I'm watching this, and I went, "Oh, this poor kid, man! Like you're having this match, and you do not." And again, it's not phoning it in. It's not being complacent. You don't need to do that because there's such a friggin' room for error. And now, like this kid is young, and he just exploded his leg. And now when you come back, like, are you going to do the same type of stuff, or are you going to kind of that like age old tradition of like, you only really get good when you get injured, because then you can't do all the stuff. And now you rely on other stuff like your personality or like making the simple stuff very interesting, as opposed to relying on the fireworks, you know what I mean? And it's just, I really hope, man, like when he comes back, I really hope he doesn't take those risks again. Like just do what you need to, but man, that was a nasty injury to watch, man, and it just makes me feel bad.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I know the one you're talking about. It wasn't Action Andretti, I don't believe, but
I think it was one of the Martin. It was one of the Martin guys. It was Dante Martin or Darius Martin. One of them.
He was Darius.
Yeah, and it was just oh my god, what a crazy stunt, man! What a crazy stunt.
Yeah, and unnecessary at the end of the day. Like it wasn't gonna, even if it went off perfectly, it was not gonna really make much of a difference.
No, it just blends in, and the next day nobody remembers it, man.
100%.
I remember it because he exploded his leg in half. That's why I remember it.
Yeah,
it's like, damn, dude.
So at the risk of taking it in a divisive direction here, because I'm going to bring up like faith. I am a Christian, and I do believe that there are a lot of things that happen in our lives that we just think, oh, the odds are stacking against me, and like nothing is going right. And it's like, okay, but if you keep track of the fact that it's not on your schedule, it's on his, and so he may have to place these 6 or 7 trying scenarios in your path so that you are when you get to that place that he needs you to get to, that you're prepared to be there. And hopefully, and I don't know what his faith is, and it certainly doesn't need to be like mine, but like hopefully he can see it as something similar where it's like, okay, I need to learn from that. Like I need to not do that again, and find a better way to utilize what I'm good at, and the things that I can do.
Yeah, it's just, again, it's that same, it's like you said, I hope he learns that you don't need to do that.
Right.
You don't need to do that. If you choose to do it, it's one thing, but you really don't need to do that to be successful.
No, not even a little.
Man, I know
guys with not even a, half a thumb's worth of his athletic ability.
Yeah.
Have made millions.
That's right.
Millions.
Yes.
With less,
Yeah, big time.
Do I kind of look like Dr.
A little bit, dude. A little bit. You're getting close, yeah.
I can't shave my beard though. My 10-year-old did not talk to me for a week when I shaved my beard. I still had hair, but when I left AEW and I was like off TV, I'm like, you know what? It's been so long. I'm just gonna shave it all.
Yeah,
and I did, and she did not. It did not go well. My wife didn't like it either. Don't get me wrong, but my daughter, she just stopped talking to me for a week.
Nice.
Yeah, I was sure I was going to come home and like the police were going to be here and be like, "Sir, you have to vacate the premises." Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Frank, whoa! Did we wake you up?
Huh? Oh.
Good morning.
Good afternoon and salutations.
You got some indigestion, Frank? Did you shit
You
your pants? You had that Sunday. Breezy. You should have seen this Sunday that this guy, it had, what was that, antifreeze? Like it was blue. Like I've never seen ice cream like that. What the hell was that?
Is that mint chocolate chip?
No, it was cookie.
It was chocolate chip cookie dough antifreeze. What are we talking about here?
Cookie Monster ice cream.
Cookie Monster ice cream.
Frank, you should be ashamed of yourself. You're a bill-paying adult. You're a bill-paying adult. You're somebody's father. The Cookie Monster ice cream.
Cookie Monster ice cream.
Have something respectable, something that like your wife can at least look you in the eye while you're eating.
Yeah. Whew.
She had to look away from you in shame, just like, yep, there's my husband.
Yep,
eating Cookie Monster ice cream.
She had to stand next to him when he ordered that shit.
Oh God.
And the best part is you just admitted that shit on a fucking podcast that's worldwide. Well done.
Hey, I'll be honest. I'm a little curious. I like myself like some good ice cream and
what does Cookie Monster flavor taste like?
Yeah,
we know it's
what's it taste like? Just like an amalgamation of cookies?
There are cookie bites in it. Yes.
What kind of cookies?
Chocolate chip.
So how does it differ from like chocolate chip cookie dough?
Yeah.
It really doesn't.
So
it's just
blue. It's just blue.
Blue chocolate chip cookie dough. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes it a little bit less.
No, it doesn't.
Actually, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Not even a little bit. Yeah.
He still had to order the Cookie Monster Sundae.
Yeah,
he did. Did you get sprinkles on it? Did you ask for sprinkles or not?
No.
So what'd you
Hold
get?
on. It had peanut butter sauce, chocolate sauce, Reese's Pieces, whipped cream, and a cherry.
Jesus Christ, Frank!
It was a cardio day too.
Well, I hope so.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Wow.
What time were you at the gym this morning, Frank?
4:30 a.m.
Oh, Breezy, are you a early gym guy or later in the day?
Late once I have breakfast, so more like 10, 11.
Okay.
I would love to do the early morning thing, but
I love the early morning. I was 5:30 this morning.
But here's the thing: do you go to bed early?
No.
So see, that's tough. If I get up early, I got to go to bed early, and I got stuff to do. So most of the time, I'm not in bed before 11 or 12.
Yeah. So I'll go to bed early because my wife goes to bed early. Okay. And if I join her, then like I go to bed early. Yes, she's pretty much a 9 somewhere between 9 and 10.
That's tough. But it helps that you got support there.
That what?
It helps that you got support there.
Support?
Yeah, that she does it too. If she didn't do it, you probably would.
Yeah, but I don't so if I don't go to bed when she goes to bed, like then that's when I stay up and then I fall asleep on the couch and then I put myself in the guest room at some point when I wake up on the couch because I don't want to wake her up and she's a light sleeper, so it's like this whole mess
process. Jeez.
Yeah, it's this whole mess. And then my alarm goes off and I'm like, okay, it's 5.
I gotta go to Tampa. I gotta go back to Orlando. I gotta go to Jacksonville to come home to go to sleep.
Yeah, I do. It just is what it is. Yeah.
Take us home.
All right.
We still we still got to ask the most pertinent question.
Oh,
yes. You're right.
D, you reminded us. So, do you want to do the honors?
I sure will.
Okay.
Are you a card-carrying member of Hulkamania?
I am not.
Oh, you screwed it up, Dennis. You screwed it up. Normally I would expect such a thing from Frank. Are you a card-carrying Hulkamaniac?
That too. Same thing.
Not a card-carrying member of Hulkamania. He's a noun. He's a Hulkamaniac. He's a noun.
Way different.
You made it like an adjective or something. I don't know what you did.
Well,
shame.
Listen, sorry. My bad.
Now I can't have faith in either of my co-hosts now. Dennis, at least
really
I had prior to this episode.
Can you answer the question?
Not at this point. At this point, it's ruined. Good night, Bobby.
You've disgusted him. You've disgusted Bobby at this point.
You have. I'm gonna go punch myself in the face after this. All right, you can answer it if you want.
I am not.
No.
Never happened.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Never happened.
Were you one of the little warriors?
No, I wasn't really a warrior either.
Oh.
I was my prime time was like Brett, Austin. I wasn't really big on the Hogan era.
So I see it like a little Breezy and a little Dax Harwood.
Yeah, that's right. I need some Shawn, I need some Brett, I need some Austin, I need some Rock. That's my Britain.
What?
That's right.
What?
Yeah, Hogan.
I grew up on Luthez.
What? You grew up on him or wrestling him?
On him. My father and him were in the fire department together. Luthez was a fireman for a little while, and
Louis.
When I was born, my dad used to take when it was nap time, he would just lay me on Lou's hairy back, and I would just sleep like a baby because I was a baby.
This shit's getting weird.
Yeah. Hey, come on, Dennis. We know this. Don't tell my wife.
I'm sure she's well aware.
Yeah.
Literally.
To be honest, I'm sure she's like,
yeah.
Yeah. She's like, why are you so damn weird? Please stop it.
Okay. Well,
okay.
Now it's time to take us home.
Okay, Breezy, it was an absolute pleasure. What do you got upcoming? Let's let the people know. Hit them socials. If they want to be, if I'm an aspiring young wrestler and I wanna go to Flatbacks and I want to be trained by Spears and Breezy, what do I got to do?
All you got to do is go to flatbackswrestlingschool.com. Got all the info on there. Also got that link on my socials, which is Gorgeous with 3 M's on Twitter and Instagram. You can catch me every week on Up Down because we got tons of stuff going on. I got bookings coming up, so my September is super busy. If you're in the areas, I got Portland, I got Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa. Yeah, Iowa, Portland, Chicago, Missoula, Montana.
Oh, beautiful place.
Omaha, Nebraska.
Love it.
We're doing what else? Tennessee, Knoxville, Tennessee.
Nice. Getting out.
LA. I'm over in LA. So yeah, a little bit of everything. A little bit of everything, man.
Yeah,
Nice,
you're moving and
nice.
shaking again.
That's a lot.
Not to get back into it, but I thought of this and was going to ask it before. But how far of a deviation from what you as a kid envisioned your creator wrestler being? How far of a deviation is Breeze?
A big one. So it's actually funny. I have it. I think it probably filed away, but I had I remember in school, like I printed out what I was going to be in, like what moves I was going to do off of like the creator wrestler.
Yeah.
And back then I was going to be 6'3", 225 pounds. Did not come to fruition. But that was the plan. But I always kind of knew, like I kind of do like the same moves that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
That kind of stayed, but the overall look of everything was very different. Very different. I was gonna be like, I think I was gonna come out in like camo pants, but then the Dudleys did it, so I couldn't do it. I had like you remember like back in the day when like you had a Superman shirt with the Superman symbol on it?
Yeah.
I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. And that was
gonna
be like my look. That was gonna be my look. Superman shirt with the camo pants, and not really quite what we were up with.
Didn't really pan out. Yeah, just didn't. The look changed. The look
was a little different.
The look was close, but different.
I could bring it back.
Well, like I said, Breezy, got anything else to?
I think that's it, man. I think
plug you, carny freak you.
That's a lot, man. That's a lot.
The only reason we do these things.
That's
the
right.
Only reason.
That's
the
right.
Only reason. I'm
Go on
trying
my
to
website.
swindle you out of your money.
That's right. Come learn to wrestle.
Yeah, Mark.
That's right.
Ugh, I hate that term. Right?
It's not a good one.
I hate it's all the terms. Now it's like that. Now that like fans just be fans. You're not marks. Like just be fans and don't come up and tell me I love your heel work. You're not supposed to know.
Yeah, it's like if we had a really good inside joke and then someone tries to be a part of it. Now we don't really want to do the inside joke anymore.
Yeah, we don't need it.
Like we don't need it.
Now it's not an inside joke. Lane. It's more fun when everybody's in their lane.
That's right. You don't need to know everything.
Yeah, right. But okay, enough. I'm getting off the soapbox. I'm off the soapbox. We got BobbyFishApparel.com for all your good school clothes. It's almost time to go back to school.
It's almost time.
Right? So
it's almost time.
What time is it? What time is it?
There's the impressions. Do you even know
You're right.
That was?
You're right. Not good. Not good.
Frank
you couldn't even get the fee going, man.
What time is it? What time is it?
I don't know. That's a weird one.
Oh, Frank never disappoints, but yet he disappoints with his lack of disappointment.
Yeah.
That's what I do. That's what I do.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
All right. Perfect. All right. Well, shitting on Frank's getting a little old. Actually, I could do this all night. Frank's gonna probably go shit his pants after that. All right. Well, we'll send Frank off to the bathroom. And Dennis, what do you got?
I got a few words, and I just say goodnight, Bobby.
Bukkake?
No, not say. That didn't even sound like say goodnight, Bobby.
Good night, Bukkake.
Yeah. Good night.
Good night, Bobby.